A landscaping company in Ohio charged a homeowner $14,000 to upgrade curb appeal. 6 months later, her neighbor spent $340 and her yard looked better. Same street, same size lot, same sun exposure. The only difference? The neighbor knew 5 or 6 tricks that professional landscapers don't want you to know, because those tricks don't require hiring anyone. Here's the truth. Nobody in the landscaping industry wants you to hear. The difference between a yard that looks like a rental property and a yard that looks like it belongs to old money isn't the budget. It's knowledge. And today, you're getting all of in this video. I'm giving you 10 more cheap, doable ways to make your yard look like you spent thousands, when you actually spent almost nothing. We're going deep on each one, what to buy, what to avoid, and the exact mistake that makes most yards look cheap even when the homeowner tried hard. And stick around for number 7, because it's the one trick professional stagers use to sell million-dollar homes, and almost nobody applies it to their own front yard. Before we get into it, if you're the kind of person who wants your yard to look better than your budget suggests, you need to subscribe right now. Here's why. I post a new low-cost yard upgrade every single week, and if you miss even one, you could be missing the exact trick that would have saved you hundreds of dollars this season. So hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's get into it. Item 1, edge everything. Like a professional, crisp edges are the single fastest way to make a yard look intentional instead of neglected. Here's what almost nobody realizes. Your brain registers expensive yard, based on straight lines and clean transitions, far more than it registers grass height or plant variety. A slightly overgrown lawn with razor-sharp edges along the driveway, sidewalk, and flower beds reads as stylish and low maintenance. A perfectly mowed lawn with fuzzy, you don't need a $200 gas edger. A simple manual edging tool, roughly $15–20 at any hardware store, or even a flat blade spade will do the job in under 30 minutes for an average front yard. The move is to cut a clean vertical trench, about 2 inches deep, along every hard border, walkways, driveways, and bed lines. Do this once every 2 to 3 weeks, and the expensive effect compounds over the season. The surprising fact most people don't know: landscaping companies that charge premium rates for full-service lawn care often spend more time and labor on edging than on actual mowing, because edging is what clients notice and photograph. It's the detail that sells the whole yard. But edging alone won't save you if you make the mistake almost every homeowner makes with their mulch. And that's exactly what's coming up next. Item 2. Stop mulching wrong. The Volcano. Mistake mulch can make your yard look like a magazine spread or a construction site, depending on one simple technique. The most common mulch mistake in America is called mulch volcanoing, piling mulch up in a cone shape against the base of trees and shrubs. It looks intentional, but professional landscapers instantly clock it as an amateur move because it actually damages the plant by trapping moisture against the bark and inviting rot and pests. Meanwhile, the correct technique, a flat, even 2 to 3 inch layer spread in a wide level ring away from the trunk, is what creates that rich, professionally maintained look you see in high-end properties. Color matters more than most people think too. Dyed black or dark brown mulch consistently photographs and reads as more premium than bright red or orange dyed mulch, which tends to look artificial and dates the yard almost immediately. A cubic yard of quality mulch runs somewhere between $30 and $45 depending on your region, meaning most front yards can be fully refreshed for under $100. The surprising fact: mulch mistakes are the #1 reason newly planted trees die in their first 2 years. Not disease, not weather, but improper mulching technique. Fixing this one habit protects your investment and instantly upgrades your curb once your beds look sharp. There's one plant buying mistake that quietly wastes more money than almost anything else on this list, and it's coming up right after this. Item 3. Buy small, plant in groups, not one big. Expensive plant a single large shrub from the nursery can cost 4 to 5 times more than buying several small ones of the same species, and the small ones catch up within 2 seasons. This is the trick serious. Gardeners use to landscape entire yards on a fraction of the typical budget. Nurseries price plants based largely on pot size and age, not species rarity. A 3-gallon shrub might run $35 to $45, while the exact same plant in a 1-gallon pot runs $8 or $12. Buy 3 or 4 of the small ones and cluster them together in a grouping. And within 1 to 2 growing seasons, they fill in and look like a single mature, expensive planting, while you spent a third of the price. Grouping in odd numbers. 3, 5, 7 is also a principle borrowed directly from professional landscape design. Odd-numbered groupings read as natural and intentional to the human eye, while even numbers, especially pairs, tend to look stiff, symmetrical, and artificially installed, even though installed is exactly what's happening either way. The surprising fact? Many public botanical gardens and municipal landscaping projects use this exact small plant. Mass grouping strategy specifically because their budgets are public and scrutinized, meaning the expensive-looking park down the street was very likely done as cheaply as possible using this trick. Now, before I get to item 4, I want to ask you something directly. Have you ever bought an expensive, mature plant only to watch a cheaper one planted nearby grow just as big within a year or two? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know if this has happened to you, because it happens to almost everyone at least once before they learn this trick. And if you've made that mistake before, subscribing now means you won't make another expensive one. I cover a new money-wasting yard mistake every week, and the next one might save you more than this whole video did. Let's keep going. Item 4. Add a focal point yards. Without one, always look flat. Every expensive-looking yard has one thing in common. Your eye knows exactly where to land first. Yards that feel cheap or unfinished usually have no clear focal point. Everything is scattered evenly, so your eye doesn't know where to rest, and the whole space reads as cluttered or boring regardless of how much money was spent. A focal point can be as simple as a single, well-placed large planter, a small tree, a piece of art, or even a boulder, something with enough visual weight to anchor the eye. The cheapest way to create one is with a single oversized planter. Thrift stores, end-of-season clearance at big box stores, and even free curb alert finds work great, placed near your entryway or at a natural bend in a path, filled with one dramatic plant rather than a mix of small ones. A single ornamental grass or one striking perennial in a bold pot creates far more visual impact than a scattered assortment of small flowers, and usually costs less overall. The surprising fact: interior designers and landscape architects both use a principle called the rule of one dominant element. In any well-designed space, there should be exactly one thing that draws the eye first before the rest of the space is explored. Most amateur yards violate this rule without realizing it, adding 5 or 6 small, cute elements instead of one strong one. But even the best focal point in the world won't matter if your soil looks the way most American yard soil looks. And that's the next fix. Item 5. Fix bare or patchy soil with ground cover. Not grass seed bare dirt patches are the fastest way to make an otherwise nice yard look neglected. And grass seed is often the slowest, most expensive way to fix them. Grass seed takes weeks to germinate, needs consistent watering, and often fails in shady or high-traffic areas no matter how much you spend on premium seed blends. Low-cost, fast-spreading ground covers, creeping thyme, clover, or even inexpensive perennial ground covers like ajuga fill in bare patches in a fraction of the time, require far less water once established, and create a lush, intentional-looking carpet effect that reads as far more polished than patchy grass ever will. A single flat of creeping thyme or clover plugs, priced around $15-25 depending on your region, can be divided and spread to cover several square feet of bare soil. Many of these ground covers also spread on their own season after season, meaning your one-time investment keeps expanding your coverage for free every year. The surprising fact: clover lawns were the American standard before the 1950s, when herbicide companies specifically marketed clover as a weed to sell more chemical weed killers, meaning the plant most homeowners now pay to eliminate was once considered a mark of a healthy, well-kept lawn. Once your ground is covered, there's a lighting trick that costs almost nothing after dark, but changes your entire yard's perceived value. And I'm about to show you exactly how it works. Item 6, solar path lighting, the after dark trick. That doubles perceived value. A yard that looks good during the day and disappears into darkness at night is only half finished, and lighting is the cheapest half to fix. Real estate. Photographers and stagers will tell you that twilight and evening photos consistently outperform daytime photos for perceived home value because warm, layered lighting triggers a subconscious, welcoming, expensive reaction in viewers. You don't need hardwired electrical landscape lighting costing thousands of dollars. Solar path lights, now sold in multi-packs for $20–40 at most hardware and discount stores, create the exact same warm glow effect once installed correctly. The key mistake to avoid: don't line every light up in a perfectly even row like a runway. Stagger them slightly, place a couple near your focal point from item 4, and add 1 or 2 uplighting solar spotlights aimed at a tree or shrub for depth. This layered lighting approach, some low path lights, 1 or 2 upward accents, is what separates a big box store yard from a designer yard after sunset. And the cost difference is often less than $50. The surprising fact? Studies on real estate curb appeal have found that exterior lighting is one of the few upgrades that shows up in buyer perception surveys as adding perceived value nearly equal to its cost, or higher, an unusually good return for something this cheap. Now, quick check-in before item 7, because this next one might be the most underrated trick on this entire list. What's your yard's biggest weak spot right now? Is it bare patches, a boring layout, or just no lighting at night? Drop it in the comments. I read every single comment on this channel, and I'll often turn the most common answers into future videos, so your comment might literally become next week's topic. And if you want to actually see that follow-up video when it comes out, subscribing is the only way you won't miss it. I don't always announce new uploads anywhere else, so it's genuinely the only way to catch every one of these before your next weekend project. Item 7, the professional stager's secret: repetition of color, not variety. This is the trick I promised you at the start of the video, and it's the one almost nobody applies to their own yard. Home stagers who prepare million-dollar properties for sale follow a strict rule: repeat the same 2 or 3 colors throughout a space instead of introducing a wide variety. Most homeowners do the opposite in their yards, planting one of this flower, one of that flower, in 5 or 6 different colors, because each individual plant looked appealing at the nursery. The result is a yard that feels chaotic and cheap, even when every individual plant is beautiful, and even when a lot of money was spent. The fix costs nothing extra, and sometimes costs less. Pick 2 or 3 colors, say purple, white, and silver green foliage, and repeat those same colors in different plant varieties throughout your beds and containers. This creates a cohesive, designed look that our brains read as expensive and intentional, because repetition signals a plan, while randomness signals an afterthought. The surprising fact: this exact color repetition principle is taught in the first weeks of professional landscape design programs, and it's considered one of the fastest ways to make a low-budget planting scheme look like a high-budget one, because it costs nothing to apply, only discipline in what you choose not to plant. Once your colors are working together, there's still one surface most people completely ignore, and it might be quietly wrecking your yard's first impression before anyone even looks at a single plant. Item 8. Power wash your hardscaping. Before you buy a single plant dirty concrete, mossy pavers and grimy siding can undo every dollar spent on plants, because they're often the very first thing a visitor's eye registers: hardscaping. Your driveway, walkway, porch steps, and foundation accumulates a layer of grime, algae, and mildew that most homeowners stop consciously noticing over time, simply because it happened gradually. But a visitor or potential buyer sees it immediately, and a dingy walkway reads as run down, regardless of how nice your landscaping is. Renting a power washer for a day runs roughly $40 to $70 depending on your area, and can transform a decade of grime buildup in a single afternoon if renting isn't in the budget at all. A stiff outdoor broom and a mix of water with a small amount of oxygen bleach, not chlorine bleach, which can harm nearby plants and grass, will handle moss and mild staining on pavers and walkways for under $15 in supplies. Either way, this single fix is consistently rated by real estate agents as one of the highest return, lowest cost curb appeal upgrades available, because it affects the very first surface anyone walks across. The surprising fact: many professional home staging checklists put power washing above landscaping itself in priority order, specifically because dirty concrete photographs worse and creates a stronger negative first impression than an imperfect garden does. With your hardscaping clean, item 9, match your pots. Mismatched containers are a silent yard killer. 2 or 3 different colored, different style planters flanking your front door is one of the most common and most fixable mistakes in American front yards. It's an easy trap to fall into. You buy one planter this year, find a different one on clearance the next year, and end up with a mismatched collection that undercuts an otherwise nice entryway. Professional exteriors almost always use matching or intentionally coordinated planters. Same material, same color family. Sometimes same exact pot in 2 different sizes, because matching containers create the same planned, cohesive signal that color repetition does in item 7. You don't need to buy expensive matching ceramic pots. A can of outdoor spray paint, roughly $6 to $8 per can, can unify 3 mismatched plastic or terracotta planters into a matching set in under an hour. Matte black, warm terracotta, and soft sage green are currently the most consistently expensive reading colors for exterior planters. According to home design trend reports, while glossy, bright colors tend to look more novelty than premium, the surprising fact, this single fix, repainting mismatched pots to match, is one of the most repeated tips in professional home staging guides, specifically because it's nearly free but disproportionately affects a visitor's first 3 seconds of impression. Item 10. Maintain a consistent schedule. Consistency beats. Spending every time a 500 yard that's maintained? Weekly will always look more expensive than a $5,000 yard that's neglected for a month. This is the item that makes every other item on this list actually work long-term. Weeds pulled the moment they appear. Edges kept sharp every 2 to 3 weeks. Dead flowers dead-headed before they brown. And lighting bulbs replaced as soon as they burn out. None of these cost significant money. But together they create the single strongest signal of an expensive, well-kept property, visible ongoing care. A slightly imperfect yard that's clearly tended regularly consistently reads as higher value than a technically nicer yard that shows signs of neglect, like overgrown edges or dead plants left in place. The cheapest way to guarantee this is to set a recurring 20 to 30 minute weekly slot, even a Sunday morning routine, dedicated purely to these small maintenance tasks rather than big projects. Professional landscaping crews build their entire business model around this principle. It's not that they do anything a homeowner couldn't do. It's that they do it on a strict, unbroken schedule. And that consistency is what clients are actually paying for. The surprising fact, multiple curb appeal studies have found that regular, visible maintenance affects a home's perceived value more than the total dollar amount spent on landscaping. Meaning a modest yard maintained weekly can outvalue an expensive yard maintained monthly? Here's the pattern. Running underneath every single item on this list, none of them are about spending more money. They're about paying attention to the details that your brain notices instantly, but your conscious mind usually skips over. Sharp edges, flat mulch instead of a volcano, grouped plants instead of one big lonely shrub, a focal point your eye can land on, matching pots, clean concrete, a consistent weekly rhythm. Every one of these is nearly free. What they cost instead is intention. And that's actually the whole secret the landscaping industry doesn't advertise, because intention isn't something they can bill you for by the hour. Your yard doesn't need a bigger budget. It needs a plan, and now you have 10 of them. If you want the first 10 tricks I ever covered on this channel, the ones that started this whole series. I've got a video right here that pairs perfectly with this one. And together they cover almost everything you need for a full front yard refresh without spending big. Before you go, subscribe if you haven't yet. New cheap yard upgrades go up every week, and missing even one could mean missing the exact trick your yard specifically needs this season. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Now go grab that edging tool, put on some music, and go make your yard the one the whole street is quietly jealous of. I'll see you in the next one.